Hi, my name is Simi and I'm writing a book about art in the world. Growing up, I remember my first aspiration in life, apart from being a princess, was to be a ballerina. I'd always loved dancing, and that love for the stage and for art has kind of been there my whole life. No matter where I go, I've always been able to find this sense of familiarity with the arts, whether it's drawing or writing or theater or dance. But I wanted to take this outside of myself and explore why art was important in the world. And so the big question that started me off on this whole journey was kind of, why does art matter? And so that's where I really started with the inspiration for this book. With all the studies I did and the artists and their works and the stories they were telling, I found myself gravitating towards artworks that really portrayed their characters in a complex and nuanced light. And one thing that's really unique about all these stories that I tell is that most of them feature or spotlight voices that are typically not amplified or widespreadly portrayed in media or even like in their places of origin. I think one thing that's really interesting about that is that you have all these untold stories and unheard voices, and then they're amplified with the work of the artist in such a way that allows kind of anybody to come and connect with them and these stories regardless of the audience's background or lifestyle. I think that's really important because it kind of shows that stories that we don't often see in media or stories that we don't often see being portrayed, by amplifying these voices in such a way that allows us to connect with them, it undercuts the narrative that things have to be commercially viable in order for somebody's story to connect. The stories of the artworks that I cover are stories that feature voices that have been historically or typically not really seen in the commercial spaces of mass media, or voices that have never really been heard. The way that these artists kind of craft their characters and craft their narratives, they do it in such a way that because of how nuanced and complex that these subjects are, the audience is able to come, and regardless of the differences they may have with the characters that they see at face value, you're still able to connect with the stories and the narratives because of how complex and deep that they are. When we create complex characters that portray that, then it allows anyone to kind of come and identify with those characters, which I think is really important. My name is Simi and I'm writing a book about art in the world.